So Sienna Mae just appeared on Dave Portnoy's podcast giving her 2 cents on her point of view about what happened with Jack Wright. So here's a quick recap on the Sienna Mae and Jack Wright situation for those of you who don't know. TikTok star Jack Wright accused Sienna Mae Gomez of SA last year. He'd posted an exposing video months after his friend had gone on Twitter and had made the first allegation about Sienna. Sienna got cancelled after this and her life has never been the same since. I think she's trying to get a redemption arc by going on Dave's podcast, but it already hasn't worked out how she'd hoped it would. So the interview starts with Sienna on a Zoom call live interview with Dave, the BFF podcast co-hosts, and her lawyer and a video forensic expert. Damn girl, you know you're cancelled when? Dave said that it is weird she has both her lawyer and a forensic expert with her, and she agreed and laughed but said she wants to talk about her emotional state. But for the legal questions, they will answer. And Dave was like, okay, is there a legal proceeding going on? To which her lawyer responded, no. Sienna says that everything has been blown out of proportion and now she's focusing on her emotional state. Dave was like, if his girlfriend did him what Sienna did to Jack, he'd think nothing of it, etc. Sienna says she hasn't checked her phone the last month and she says she's not doing well because of all the hate she's been getting. She said that people are also going to quiet down now, that people have seen that there's nothing legal being done. Dave asked if she ever saw a red flag or if she ever saw any of this coming, to which she responded saying that she was in literal shock when this came forward because all these allegations to her came out of nowhere. Sienna says that she hasn't talked to Jack since their last trip to Hawaii together. Sienna said she reached out to the guy who made a tweet about her before Jack's video came out, and she'd asked the guy why he was lying on Jack's behalf. Sienna stated that she really loved Jack and that they'd never had. They just kissed and everything that they did was on camera. Sienna said that they had this back and forth of like her wanting to date him, and Jack was apparently all like, let's just continue making content traveling. And I just want to point out she never really addressed any of the questions being directed her way by Dave about the situation. She'd kind of changed the topic and then forget what she was asking. She never directly responded to anything that he was asking. And then I think he kept kind of asking the same questions but wording things differently throughout the whole interview. So going back to the interview, Dave says he knows what it's like to be wrongly accused of something. He then asked her if the allegation about her hopping into bed naked without his permission was made up, and she responded yes. Sienna was trying to give backstories to some of the allegations, but they didn't make sense, and it was very confusing to understand. Then Sienna was asked what she thought Jack's motive was. Sienna responded she doesn't know, and it's all crazy to her. Sienna said that the last time they'd talked, she'd explained how she didn't want to do videos anymore with him because she just wanted to be a teen and not be tied down to a relationship that wasn't really a relationship because they weren't ever officially dating. Jack apparently told her breaking up would look bad for the brand. Dave then brought up the fact that there were anonymous people who had also apparently exposed similar stuff had happened to them with Sienna, and that's when Sienna's lawyer came on and said there'd been no police reports or nothing regarding that. So then they played the forensic analysis video about those videos that were exposed of Sienna and Jack. According to the forensic analysis, one of the videos leaked were not credible evidence that could be used with the allegations made against Sienna. The reason being was that this particular video is not the original video, and the video had been heavily altered. And lastly, the video provided no context to the events. Dave and Josh Richards both kept asking why Jack Wright would post 17-minute long videos on the internet if nothing actually happened, and why was it so out of the blue? The lawyer immediately jumped in to answer this question and said that what Jack was saying was just statements and that they can't speculate as to why Jack posted those videos exposing Sienna. Sienna went on to add it's all a he said she said situation and it's completely unwinnable, and that there's a court of public opinion and a court of law. Josh then asked if that's the case, then why doesn't Sienna sue Jack for defamation? Once again, the lawyer immediately responded. Apparently they are currently considering all of the options against everyone involved. So Dave then brought up something interesting. It was about YouTube bots and how Sienna's received a lot of hate comments through bots, which are fake accounts. He'd included screenshots of some of the legal report from Sienna's case that kind of went into how someone is apparently paying bots to send her hate. So here it says, in sampling names associated with the bot's commenter accounts, the names appear to be related to real human individuals who largely do have social media accounts, but the bot's commenter accounts themselves demonstrate indicators of automated bot activity. In other words, it is likely that the bot is programmed to create new YouTube accounts using a lengthy list of compiled real social media users, perhaps to add legitimacy to the accounts at first glance. Then there were some examples of the bots that then said, reviewing the provided Excel spreadsheet, there are numerous encoding issues when it comes to a few of these comments. Examples include the appearance of HTML special characters in place of emojis or punctuation in some comments. Similarly, these comments were correlated for accounts that have an average turnaround time of 58 seconds between account creation and the time the comment was made. Investigators took a quick look at several sampled accounts that had made a comment on the What Sienna Mae Did to Me video. It is apparent that these channels are brand new and do not have much activity outside of commenting on the What Sienna Mae Did to Me YouTube video, indicative of bot activity. So here we can see an example of some of these bots. Sienna's lawyer then proceeded to say this is illegal and went into the technicalities surrounding that. Sienna got asked if she was insinuating that Jack did the botting, and Sienna's lawyer responded they don't know who did it yet. Sienna said that she doesn't know what's to come in her life after all of this, and that she used to focus all her time on social media, and now she spends more time in the present. She prefers to hang with people who don't bat an eye at this. Sienna then said she doesn't know when she'll be back on social media. She then got asked about her sponsorships, and Sienna says that she hasn't been caught up on anything business related since everything happened. She'd said she's really sensitive, so she's just focusing on herself at the moment. Sienna's lawyer says that Sienna has to deal with a traumatic amount of hate comments. Dave and Josh asked Sienna if she ever wanted to meet with Jack Wright in person after all of this, and Sienna said it was a loaded question and laughed. Josh was like, no, it's not actually. Sienna stuttered and then said, yeah, but she doesn't think he would want to. But then she said if the opportunity presented itself right at this very moment, she'd say no, probably not. So honestly, the comment section on this podcast were heated, and people were big mad that Sienna got a platform to share her opinions on the situation. This is honestly heartbreaking to see her getting to speak on a crime she committed. She contradicts herself every sentence. Also, this is why people don't come out with these stories, because people like this talk down and discredit these stories. There is proof. It's not just a video, and it's disgusting that they would ever give her a platform to speak. She's not the victim. Her lawyers are a piece of work. There's no police reports filed, so it's just a video. That's a crazy thing to say. Everyone keeps saying they want receipts and evidence. That is almost impossible to get in any essay or case or situation. If it did happen, there is no way someone happened to be recording. If it didn't happen, there's no way to prove that either. The YouTube title when they had her for the first time, Sienna is the unproblematic queen. Now, she's here with her lawyers. Just because a report hasn't been filed doesn't mean Jack lied. That lawyer is disgusting. There are so many reasons go unreported, but that does not mean it didn't happen. This angers me. Like, people wonder why essay victims don't come forward, because every single action they took prior to it is broken down and discredited because they were willing to give someone a second, third chance, because they were raised to see the good in people. What you should have brought up, ... What about the witnesses in the room of the video that corroborate that you him while he was passed out? So it's just not the video evidence? Also, Jack has the right to speak about what happened to him if it's the truth. Sienna also has the right to defend herself. It's pretty shitty to say this all should have been kept off social media because it ruins her future. What about his future? Did you not hear him say it in his video he will never be the same person? That's what essay does to you. It seems like you guys were poorly prepared. So what are your thoughts on all this? Let me know in the comments.